Today is June 1st, 2014. I am interviewing Clifford Primus at his home in Windsor, Connecticut. Interviewer is Eileen Hurst from Central Connecticut State University. Also present is Desiree Primus, Clifford's daughter. Clifford, for the record, would you state your full name, your date of birth, and the city and town in which you live?
My name is Clifford Primus. May 9th, 1923. I live at 20 Corey Street, Windsor, Connecticut, 06095.
And which war did you serve in?
World War II.
Which branch of the service were you in?
The U.S. Marine Corps.
Clifford, what was your highest rank?
Corporal.
And in what general locations did you serve?
Pacific.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted.
Where were you living at the time?
Corey Street.
Oh, you were from Windsor?
Oh, no. I was living at Main Street in Hartford.
In Hartford?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your enlistment? Why did you enlist and why did you choose the Marines?
Well, one of the reasons my brother enlisted into the Flying Tigers, but you had to be a college graduate, and I wasn't a college graduate, so. In the Marine Corps at that time, all the black people were cooks and bakers, and I heard that they were going to have enlisted men would be didn't have to. They originally wanted to college graduates like the 99th Pursuit Squadron. You had to be a college graduate, and so they dropped in the Marine Corps. I didn't want to be a cook or baker, and I was working in the defense factory. I didn't have to go into the Army, and so I wasn't going to be drafted. As soon as I found out they were going to, in the Marines, they were going to let they're going to get this battalion. It was going to be a defense battalion. 99th was the Army for the blacks, and so this the 51st Defense Battalion. And so at Mumford Point, Marines, which was solely blacks, were cooks and bakers, stewards, and we were the first ones. So I went to Springfield, Massachusetts, enlisted, and it was 17 of us, and I was the only person of color, and so on the way up, we had a nice time, enjoyed ourselves, and all. Once we got to down to Washington, D.C., we had to get off. We had a nice time on the train going down. But once we got down to Washington, D.C., they called Clifford Primus. So they called my name. They took me off the bus because there was segregation at that time. They took me off the bus, put me on off the train rather, and put me on the bus. But there wasn't any seats, and at that time, the blacks had to sit in the back, in the front, and the whites in the front. But when someone got off, if they were black, I could have a seat. But if they were white, I still would. I stood up most of the time. And then when the bus stopped, they would go into the restaurants, and so it was full of blacks on the bus besides me. So we had to go around the back and pass you some out to there and bathroom, things like that. Once we got to Washington, D.C., everybody went to lunch. We got off and jumped right up in the front seat of the bus. And so we rode all the way on up here. The people, there was a lot of seats then, quite a few seats then, until we got to Hartford, Connecticut, the bus station. At that time, the war, most everyone was enlisted listening to the services, and we were met at the bus station by people from different factories looking for people to work because most of the people, younger people, had joined the army. So right away, the fella from this machine shop, and I didn't even know what we are. Nothing. It's okay. But the pay was, I remember that, 56 cents an hour, 50 some cents an hour, I know.
Clifford, go back to when you first enlisted. Do you
Excuse
remember?
me, can you?
That's all right, we'll stop. Do you recall the date when you enlisted?
Oh my goodness.
Or what year was it?
1943.
19,
No, 42.
1942. Well, we can check your dates on your DD 214.
Mm.
Now, you said your brother was older than you and he had enlisted in the Tuskegee Airmen?
Yes.
Had he already left for service when you enlisted?
Yes. Yes, he was in training.
Okay, now, you said that you did not have to enlist because you were working for a defense contractor.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, when you decided that you wanted to join the Marines, did you know that they were forming the unit, the new battalion down at Montford Point, or did you just enlist not knowing that?
No, that's the only reason I gave up that. I thought I was making $50-some a week, and I was down in Florida right after I got out of high school and worked there. I get $1 a day. So that was a big difference. I was getting I work at the restaurant, and washing dishes and things like that right out of high school. That's the only thing to get down in Florida.
So how did you hear about the battalion they were forming at Montford Point?
But before we get to that, something that I think you should know, like everybody was, when we graduate, they would go to New York, Asbury Park, tourist places, to get jobs. And so we just looked on the map. Let's go. Never heard of it before. Let's go to this place in Hartford, Connecticut. My friend and I. So we got on the bus and boom. Never heard of it before. Just looked at it.
Where did you live before you came to Hartford?
With my parents in Daytona Beach, Florida.
So you decided, living in Florida, you picked Hartford, Connecticut to go to?
Never heard of it before.
Wow.
But see, we after school in Florida, we had the manual, what do you call it? Manual arts or something like that. And we were trained, but not on the machines that they have then. But they wouldn't, when we got here, there was no blacks on them. In fact, it was standardized. The same thing. They didn't, and the whole time I was working there before I enlisted, I never got it. There still wasn't any blacks running machine. This was in Connecticut.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
When you enlisted and you knew you wanted to go down to Montford Point, you went to Springfield, Massachusetts first. Was that for just your induction?
Yes, I had to go there and enlist.
Okay, so that's where you you didn't enlist right here in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
When you enlisted, did you enlist into the 51st Defense Battalion? How did they know to send you to Montford Point and not someplace else?
That's a good question. That's the only reason I enlisted, because I'm trying to think. You're not recording this off, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's on.
Oh, repeat the question.
When you went to Springfield for induction to enlist, how did they know that you were enlisting for the 51st Defense Battalion and that you were going to Montford Point?
That was enlisted. There was a Marine Corps enlistment place there.
And you can tell them that's what you're signing up for?
That's a good question. Well, I know I wanted to sign up for the Black Battalion.
Now, when you enlisted in Springfield, you didn't leave immediately, did you? Did you go home
No.
again? You had some leave before you actually went in?
Right, and I had to go back up there. And we were all together, and then we got on the train. And
Now,
myself
the
and
group of you that went up there and got on the train, were they all black men that were going to Montford Point, or were
no,
they all Marines?
they're all Marines, but I was the only black.
The only one.
Black.
How was that? How did the other Marines?
Oh, we got along good together before we got down to Washington, D.C. Play cards, we could go in the dining room and everything. They come. I didn't know. I thought we were going to all go to the same place. The fella came in, the Clifford Primus. Whoa. I told the guys goodbye. We had a nice time going down. And they took me off the train and put me on the bus.
Now,
To
where did
Jacksonville
you go for your basic training?
It was Camp Lejeune, Montford Point.
So you went right to Montford Point.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me what your basic training was like at Montford Point and what Montford Point was like?
Well, the boot camp, it's amazing. You have to go in the rifle range, and the fellow the sergeant at the rifle range was from Massachusetts, and I was Massachusetts, enlisting and stuff, so for Africa. And he spent extra time with me, and we'd go out on the rifle range, and we'd talk and have coffee, and we'd fire the M1 rifle fire. And I wind up being a rifle expert. I shot the highest in my company, 314, 3 something, I forgot what it was. And I was a rifle expert from this fellow taking this extra time with me.
What other things did they teach you in boot camp?
Well, just drilling mostly, and mostly about I was in dog battery, got 4 batteries, anti-aircraft, and I was azimuth, this machine I was an azimuth. You do is sitting on this thing, the guns are over there. I was in dog battery, and you turn this, and when it lines up, then they tell the director sergeant, say, call, I forgot what it say, and then they'd fire. And the 90 millimeter guns with this 4-hour battery, and the planes be coming. Anyway, the guns were pointing ahead of the planes, and the planes run into the barrage. With Foxes, let me see, 4 batteries, and we were dog battery, and 4 guns. Each one make a different pattern up in the air when you're firing, and you lead the planes would be there, and we were there, and you fire in front of the planes, and they run into this barrage.
Did they teach everybody how to use the anti-aircraft guns, or was that going to be your future job?
That was just we were separated from the rest of the Marines down there, and that was what we were trained for. But we had to go to boot camp first. And once we finished boot camp, and we were the ones that they selected for the.
Now, your boot camp was at Montford Point. Was the anti-aircraft training also at Montford Point?
No, I'm not quite sure. Yes. I'm not sure about that, but I think so.
Do you remember any of your instructors from boot
Oh,
camp?
no. In boot camp, see, at the time there was no black officers. They had a sergeant from the, what do you call it, Hasmac Johnson, I'll never forget that. He was from the Navy, had been in the Navy a long time, so they came over to make him a sergeant major over. And another individual from college, he came in, but they were the only ones with stripes because all our drill instructors and everybody, they were all white. But before we left, we had, so everybody was on in my battery, at least in the dog battery, had at least 1 stripe, for being in this.
You were in, are you saying dog battery?
Dog battery, yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you have a graduation after your training?
I'm not sure about that. But I know
But when you finished being trained, where did you go?
well, we stayed in Marfa Point. It's San Diego, California.
How long were you in San Diego?
Oh, we stayed down there quite a while, but it just so happened this, there wasn't they call us the Lost Battalion, which was a black paper. They wrote the article. And a couple of days later, we were on the, they round up people, and so the guys were down in Tijuana and all that. We were having a good time. Stayed over there quite a while. They rounded us all up, put us on those, at that time, the Liberty ships. They were very,
What were your duties while you were in San Diego?
we were practicing with the, night mill, go out and drill and things like that. Go to Tijuana.
How long do you think it was that you stayed there? Months or weeks?
I think it was months. It's quite a while. I tell you, this paper wrote an article on the Lost Battalion.
When they found your battalion, they decided to ship you overseas.
Right.
Do you recall what Liberty ship they put you on?
No. Because at the time, later on, you had the victory ships. This is Liberty. But I'll never forget and they were so fast that the submarine couldn't. So we didn't have an escort. They would go. So once we got outside the, what do they call it, away at night, they dump the garbage and stuff, and then they make that hard turn. That's how the subs would, follow the garbage and catch it. But those Liberty ships were so fast, we were by ourselves till we got to Pearl Harbor.
You were the only Liberty ship? You didn't go on a convoy?
No. We picked up the convoy, though. I don't know what time, but we went quite a while, for a couple of days or something. Next morning, wake up, see all them ships out there.
So you went from San Diego to Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
What was Pearl Harbor like? Because this was after it had been bombed. Did you get to see any of the damage?
No. A couple of fellas, you could just, it was quite a ways out there. They would go and get the mail every month. We didn't stay there about a week or so. I don't remember.
Were you able to get off the ship at Pearl Harbor or no?
No, just the people that got the mail, and we got supplies and things at Pearl Harbor about a week. And then we went to Ellis.
So then at Pearl Harbor, did you join up with other ships?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How big a convoy left Pearl Harbor to go to the Pacific?
I don't know, but you could see quite a few ships, but they were very slow compared to when we were traveling by ourselves. We were so fast with that Liberty ship.
How many days did it take you to get?
Oh my goodness, it was quite a while. The guys were, with seasick and stuff, and we sit down there by our meals, and some guys couldn't take it, and the little guys, some little guys, they'd grab it, didn't get seasick, so the guy, okay, just he could do something with his plate, and he pull it over and eat it.
How about you? Did you get seasick?
Mm-mm.
Didn't bother you?
No, for some reason, I live, Daytona Beach, I live around water all the time. No.
So what was your destination?
I thought we went to Ellis Island. That was pretty close to Australia. And there was Inuit.
You went to Eniwetok?
I'm not sure. But we stayed a long time in the Marshall Islands. Let me see what's the name of that? It was in the Marshalls.
Kwajalein, Eniwetok, that area?
Inuit, Kwajalein, yes. But that wasn't I thought that was the Ellis Island. We on two bunch of islands. But Kwajalein.
Were you there?
I was in Inuit. Is that Marshalls?
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so at Eniwetok, what were your duties?
Oh, to maintain the we had a squadron of planes, Navy planes on there. No, they're Marine. I don't know. I think they're Marine. But we practiced, and then every now and then, a couple of times, a Betty Bummer or something. And just weren't on the whole. It's Japanese. There's quite a few islands, and the Japanese were on some of the islands. But we took, had the large islands, large enough for the planes to take off, and then we had about Swarovski, what's the FOU squadron of those on the island. We were protecting those.
Did you, when you were on Eniwetok, did you stay on the ship or did you actually get off the ship and stay on the island?
No, we stayed on the island a long time.
Oh, so where did you live in? Did you have like barracks or tents?
No, they had what do you call them? The huts. They're just straw and no sight. I mean, no, But then we had the hall. We had a chow hall that was made up, a structure. But we didn't have barracks. We had huts. Oh, I forgot how many were in the hut. It was so hot over there, and so you got the mess hall. That was wood, and they had outhouses and things like that.
Describe to me what a typical day would be like for you on Eniwetok.
Oh my goodness! The main thing is the first thing in the morning, after you shower, you get to do the exercise, then we drill and that, and then about afterwards, then we have to be the batteries have to be manned at all times, and then we have false alarms. Then you get to, and the sirens go off, and then you man your posts. Go to the guns. I was a azimuth,
So would you man your gun all day long?
Oh, 24 hours a day. The gun's always the gun crew, yes. But when the sirens sing, the guys come up that pull the shells and the 90mm shells or things like that, and be on it ready. It's 24 hours a day because those planes would come over, I guess they know if it was.
Did you ever
Friend.
fire at Japanese airplanes that were
Oh
coming
my
over?
goodness, yeah. Mostly at night though. And so they had, I don't know, there's several instances, but they never brought one ashore or nothing. We never brought one, the wreckage or nothing. I never saw any wreckage.
Did you take turns on which shift you had? Did you sometimes have the day shift, sometimes at night? How did they arrange it?
I don't remember. But the guns were manned. But then they had that siren go off, and sometimes 2 and 3 times a night. But mostly at night when we had the fire.
When the siren would go off, would even the guys that were sleeping get up and go help man the post?
Oh, everything, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now we had.
On Eniwetok, you were with the 51st Battalion. Were you situated all by yourself, or were you put together with all of the other regiments and battalions that were on Eniwetok? Were you with the white battalions too, or were you guys segregated?
I don't remember that, but I know that battalion we relieved. They were surprised to see our M1 weapons. They had the old 3s, the old type weapons.
And you had an M1?
M1s. They wanted to see our weapons and things. And with they had been there quite a while because you see some little blonde kids running around, playing and stuff. So they'd been there, and they didn't, no uniform, no nothing. They just had shorts, they cooked it all, things like that. And they hunt and fish, and they had been there long. They call it Lost Battalion. I don't know how they had been there a long time. And they sure they'd never seen an M1 rifle. They were looking at those rifles. They had old threes.
Now, did you go any place else after any WeTalk?
Well, we talked was our last. That's not where we were at first. I can't think of the name. I thought it was the Ellis Islands. It's off near Australia. That's where we went first.
On that first island, we can check your DD 214, I think it'll have it listed.
Mm-hmm.
On that first island, what did you do? The same kind of duty?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you wasn't on 24 hours like it was before. Then you go to when they siren. But every morning you gotta get up after you shower and stuff. You drill, the muster, go to muster, and then we drill, and always something. And you get to sign the KP duty and stuff like that.
When you first landed on that first island, what was your first impression of that island?
Well, like I say, that's about these little kids running around and stuff, and it's totally different. Wow. And the guys would send back especially little guys from Chicago, we had quite a few, they would get clothes and give it to those people.
Was your duty always to man the anti-aircraft gun?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was your unit in combat while you were overseas?
I wouldn't necessarily, it was a combat zone, but just to put it, but in fact, those islands weren't all occupied by Allies. They were, because the guys in fact, you could, in the patrol, like when we go on they not patrol, but we have to do duty with the, up in the tower where those fighter planes were, that squadron we were protecting. And that was the only kind of thing that's different.
Were there any casualties in your unit?
I'm not sure. Let me see. Not from combat, because we were a defense battalion. But you could see the enemy. They would. In fact, a couple of guys told me they swim over there. They swim over at night and get robbed the garbage because they had what you call it when they couldn't get supplies and nothing. Submarines couldn't get in. Even 91 or 2 or something get in. What's that, huh?
Blockade.
Hmm?
Blockade.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Because, ooh, man, like in Marshall, there was, a lot of islands. You just took the larger one.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
I got for the rifle expert. I still got that medal. I got a couple, I forgot. I got a little box with my medals in. I
Do
forgot.
you remember what they are? We can check later.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be on your DD 214.
Mm-hmm. A rifle expert, but see, I got that in the States when I came off from off the range, and I've forgotten about that. No, but still, I got it someplace.
Now, did I hear that you got the Medal of Honor?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, it was a big surprise. I had forgotten all about that. You see, Bethune-Cookman College, it's a black college in down Daytona Beach, Florida. There's Madam Bethune, she's president, everything there. And she was a personal friend of Eleanor Roosevelt. And Eleanor Roosevelt, and she would come down, and the mayor and band and everything. And, this is during segregation. See, at the railroad, she always come on the railroad on a train. Half of this over here is black and half is white at the station, and the mayor and everybody playing the drum, but she would always go and get in the limo with Madam Bethune. A lot of people be coming out. She stayed on the campus when she come down to Bethune-Cookman College, and I was a paper boy. That I remember seeing her and Miss Bethune sitting on the swing when I delivered the paper with the, so what do you call those security? What do you call those people that take the presidents? They'd be there, stuff, sitting in cars and stuff around. And but that more than one time, I have seen her. They were very good friends, and she would a couple of times come down and didn't tell nobody she was coming. Just and she and Miss. They say, but that was brought up several times about why all the blacks were. Well, anyway, Miss Roosevelt was instrumental in helping. It took 73 years for us to get that. They would try it. It took 73 years to get that medal. It come up all the time, but.
When were you actually awarded it? What year?
Last year, wasn't
I
it?
haven't.
No, remember you went?
2012, June 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you go to receive it?
Washington, D.C.
And was it for all Montford Point Marines?
Mm-hmm.
So how many of you Montford Point Marines were there?
Not that, but they had a few that were. See, you still have Montford Point cookers, and they still had cooks and bakers and stuff there on the same section on this island. There's a guy from Hartford. Remember the guy we met from Hartford? He was a policeman, Pittman. I don't know his name, but he was at Montford Point, and you had quite a few white people that were there.
How many?
I don't know, but see, they were Montford Point. It wasn't just for the 99. Montford Point was and so they're whites. When we received the honors, they were. You sitting there?
Approximately 500.
So there were about 500 who received the Medal of Honor?
Yes.
Were they all black or were they white and black?
White and black.
So it wasn't just the 51st Battalion?
Yeah, I mean, they trained at Montford Point. The whites trained us. I wish I could. Well,
We can look later. Do you have a document of some sort?
I just want to show you the guys were there, white and black. When we got the honor, I got a picture with it.
All right, well, I'll take a picture of it later. So Clifford, tell me about, Montford Point, and you're in a very historic unit. That 51st Battalion was the first battalion of all black men trained for something other than bakers and cooks and porters. So you lived in a very historic time. Did you feel the momentous importance of that at the time?
Definitely, it's when we go on leave. Have a weekend pass when you go into Jacksonville, North Carolina. In fact, I just had made PFC, and I was so proud of being in this. I had a jacket, a field jacket, and with the patch had burst in a 90 millimeter gun on, and so I was on leave, and well, it was kind of nippy, so I wore the jacket, and they got me for out of uniform. And so I lost my straight, and so I had to get it back and go, took me about a year. And because I probably could have made sergeant, but I lost that for they got so bad, these SPs down there, show patrol, and San Diego, the same thing. And if you go on leave or something, see in the segregated town, there's certain places you have to go or something, and go across the tracks, you know, there's a little black establishment, you get a couple of beers or something. And I had my field jacket on. They cited me for that. So I had to go through, make corporal all over those PSC and then make the call. By me being a rifle expert, it was a little better, you know.
How did the other black units at Montford Point view you guys because you were a special unit, you were different, you were actually gonna go in combat. How did those other units,
We were situated at the East Coast. We had Seacoast too. The Seacoast 105 millimeter Seacoast unit, and they would. We were on the coast. I mean, you know, the water, and we were kind of off by ourselves. But we had all our instructors were white, you know, sergeants and things.
how often did you get to leave the base?
Well, as long as you, once you finish boot camp, I forgot how long that take. Once you finish boot camp, then you could get a leave. You can go home, and for a week or so. I forgot how long.
Did you go home? Did you go home to Connecticut or to Florida?
I went to Florida, sure, and I'll never forget that we. It was in the. It's something. It was hot, like I don't know what, but once I got there, I wore my dress blues down in my hometown, Daytona Beach. The Second Avenue, that's the main drag, and it must have been about 90-something degrees. Boy, I pushed my butt. I wore my dress blue. I went out to cafes and stuff, and hey, oh, I really enjoyed that, though. Really.
I bet. So did all your friends that were still in town got to see you?
Yeah, that was really an occasion.
What was it like when you were on base and you would go on leave? And you said the towns were segregated then. So when you would go to town, did you have to only go to special places and were you treated
Sure.
differently?
You couldn't go to those restaurants and bars. You had to go in the black section.
Even if you were in uniform.
Oh yeah, everybody. And you'd salute those officers and see all our officers and commission officers were white. With the exception of Hashmont Johnson, he's the guy that came over from the Navy. And another fellow came over.
How did the white officers treat the black servicemen?
They were, that's, I often wonder about that. They'd come out of their way to, to shake your hand and stuff, because they're always looking. And as soon as they saw that, patch, 51st Defense with that 90 millimeter gun, boy, they would shake our hand, because we were the first. Now they had a 52nd came after us. 52nd.
And did they do the same thing, anti-aircraft?
Anti-aircraft. 52nd, but I was overseas. I don't know nothing about them. But I know there was a 52nd Defense Battalion. But this was the 51st that was down in Montford Point.
How long did you stay overseas?
Over a year. And when they burned Pearl Harbor, my brothers outfit, they were on their way, from Europe. I don't understand. But anyway, you said how long did I stay in after?
Did you stay overseas in the Pacific?
I don't remember, but I know that when we got back, the war was over.
Okay, so you stayed there until the end of the war?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about that, but I do. One thing I'll never forget, though, is when we came back, we were on this, as I told you before, this Liberty ship. And they had the Victory ships. They were fast, too, but we had a Dutch passenger liner. That thing did, oh, man, you wouldn't think it was so smooth, but you go so slow. And when we were on the way back, they had big signs of the 51st Defense Battalion in San Diego. Job well done, and all this stuff. And it took so long, that ship, for it to get there, and they were watching. It took hours and before we finally got there. And once we got to San Diego, they had all this, what do you call those people that used to give coffee and stuff to?
Red Cross?
Hmm?
Red Cross?
Red Cross, yes, the Red Cross and all these people at coffee, donuts, all kinds of Franklin stuff up there. But as you get closer and closer, this old ship was so slow. And you could see all those people out there. And then by the time we got there, I wonder why it stayed so long before we want to get over here to eat. They had all that food and stuff, all that fresh food. But the officers went on, all our officers was white, so they went on, and you could see them eating and greeting it, and those nurses and everybody. And then they went on to the base or something, anyway, and they let us off. And we didn't have any, everybody's gone. So we had to, all this food and stuff. We had a good time. But
Where did you land? Back in San Diego?
San Diego. Mm-hmm.
Do you know which Victory ship you came home on?
No, but we had all these. Oh man, I've seen so much food.
Good. When you were overseas, how did you stay in touch with your family?
Well, I write often, but it takes so long to get a letter and, and stuff for them. So that's, one of your pastimes, they have nothing, no TV, no, I think, yeah, we had radio. He'd pick up mostly Tokyo Rose. I've forgotten about that name, just popped up. Boy, she know more about what's going back on in America.
Tokyo Rose did?
Yeah. She called a couple of guys' names, when talking about,
When you were on the island, what did you do for food? Now you stayed in those little huts. Did you have a regular dining hall that you had 3 meals a day?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But mostly, nowadays, the natives though, boy, I don't know. They called for they had to pay taxes and coconuts and stuff. They go up and they climb a tree and the ships come and dig all the coconuts and stuff, But I would see them, I don't know what they ate, but they would hang around getting, our mess hall and stuff. And they didn't, and if you go to the graveyard, they very seldom see somebody 30 years old. They were always, and the young ladies, when they were about 10 or 11, they looked like grown, but in their 20s, they all gray. I don't know, it must be, I don't know, all I had there was donuts and stuff. Not donuts, but coconuts and stuff. But the ships, I don't know what they eat. Fish, mostly.
But what did you guys eat for food?
Oh, what they call it?
Did you have sea rations or did they cook meals, regular food?
I know we had our share of cereal, but I think I'm not sure about that. But when we were, and then guys would, most guys sent home their family, their family sent them canned goods and stuff. We had stock of that. Some old guys from Chicago, they had regular stoves you could buy stuff. They always, and when we got discharged, they took a cab from San Diego, California to Chicago.
That must have been one long cab.
Oh my goodness, boy, them guys, they were and always selling something. I don't know what you can get almost anything you want of it.
Wow. Did you have enough supplies when you were overseas? Did
Oh
you
my
always
goodness.
have enough? No?
Oh yes.
You had enough ammunition, enough clothing?
You're right, because we didn't wear no clothes hardly, just cut the arms off the shirts and shorts and stuff.
So there were no shortages of any supplies?
Oh no. I tell you, they were sneaking and get our garbage. Mm-hmm.
Was it a stressful job? Did you feel stressed when you were overseas?
No. See, like I say, with the Ray Koso, I don't know why this Tokyo Rose, she would always come on, but you would get, and a lot of fellas, they had their own music boxes and stuff, and we got the got, those long coconut palm trees. They cut them off. They had them all out in the theater, and that's what we sit on. And go to the look at movies at night.
So you had movies on there?
Yeah, big old screen up there, but you're all outside. You're sitting on these logs, and these natives, something like they see a train, a train come by, they run like a son of a gun. But they'd be there, but the sun go down to see the movie. They stand in the back there, what, looking at the music.
They've probably never seen movies before.
I know.
What other things did you do for entertainment when you weren't on duty?
Overseas?
Yes.
Play golf. Oh, they got so they had to. We would give a $5 a month because the guys are gambling. So that's mostly what they do. You're shooting crap and playing cards and stuff. That's one of the reasons when I got average 5 weeks. The $5 we get. So when I got in San Diego, so you got all that money for the time, and that bought me a 1942 convertible Buick. When my mother saved all my money, oh my goodness, that was my downfall. I went away to college and flunked out. That convertible. See, they wouldn't make.
Convertible was your downfall?
Yeah, they didn't make cars, for a long time. But the 42 was the last they made. And boy, I got all kind of offers for it. And to wind up that car, when I was in, well, you won't know about the service stuff. But anyway, it saved me. And that money from that car, I got the, right after the war, it wasn't a car, but down payment for my house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything special for good luck?
No, they had so many little different, churches, not churches, but we on Sundays and Tuesdays, we have prayer meeting, outside, this and that. And the Catholic, we had priests and had everything of every denomination.
Well, you were overseas, Clifford. Did you ever get any leave?
Where are you gonna go? No city, no
So
town.
you never got to leave and go anywhere.
No. No.
What is your opinion of the officers?
Oh my goodness, they seem to, I don't know. They more like, this, like they was very proud battalion, the first. And they, like they were, like it was an honor to them. They go all out their way to be nice, and but they know they would go down in history too, It's like at the, we were all at the, in San Diego. You see they were all old just like us, and we were all by now in wheelchairs. I have pictures, we're all in wheelchairs. And at the ceremony, it just so happens the commandant of the Marine Corps, one of the aides, she was a lieutenant colonel. She was black. And she just so happens her uncle was her uncle, well, anybody, most of the officers coming by shaking hands with her uncle. I was sitting 3 wheelchairs from them. And they would come by and shake his hand, stuff like that. And I'm talking about when we came back from overseas and we had to watch. That's where you're talking about Washington.
No, we were talking about what your opinion was of the officers.
Oh,
they were great.
Oh my goodness, cause they had a lot that they outfit broke all kind of these records shooting these drones down and stuff, and so they were proud.
What was your opinion of your fellow Marines?
You'd be surprised. It's totally different. The northern ones and the southern ones are different. Even though we're all black, but they talk different. it's just, I don't know, because those guys from Chicago and New York, boy, they, it's funny. I think we had a little, but anyway, they all be together and stuff, like we play cards and stuff, and,
Well, Clifford, you were brought up in Florida, which is south, but then
Mhm.
you came to Hartford, which is north. So did you consider yourself a northern or a southerner?
yeah, but I had to, I had been up there for a little while. As your voice, not your voice, but your speech changes a little, and they, so, well, I know when I was back, when I first got finished boot camp and went home, don't forget I had been up here a year before I went into the service, and when I just talk a little different than my old friends back home. But it's not, they let me know about it too.
Did you make any close relationships with other Marines in your unit?
Yes, I did. My main friend was Ruff. His name is he's from Little Rock, Arkansas.
What was his name?
Ruff. That's I can remember his name.
RUFF?
Mm-hmm. And we all, I don't know, we played cards together, and but like I said, they're a little different. Like them Chicago and New York, them guys, because they always tell the people about the way they talk,
Did you stay in touch with any of your friends after the war?
Oh yes, in fact, three, because I couldn't get any jobs down in Florida. Three of them, no, four, came up here. We stayed, after the war and worked. I got them jobs.
So 4 of them moved to Connecticut after the war?
Oh yes.
And they lived here in Windsor?
Mm-hmm.
So you
No, in Hartford.
but
Uh-huh.
close by, so you kept in touch.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Are any of those friends still alive?
No.
You're the last one?
No. The same as my class. There's 42. We used to have a reunion every year. And it just so happens the mayor of Daytona, up until about 5 years ago, she was a classmate of mine, a black woman, Yvonne Scarlett. She became the mayor of Daytona Beach, Florida. And she and I were the only one left out of the 40-something people that was in our outfit. And she died 2 years ago. In fact, I got her picture around here someplace.
Wow, so you're the very last one from your class.
Yeah, we had one guy from California.
Did you have reunions for the 51st?
The reunion 50? No, the class reunion. We had class
I know you
reunion.
had the high school class reunion, but did
every year.
Did your Marine unit ever have a reunion?
I remember getting letters to that effect, but I never did go.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I was hard work. I had always had 2 jobs and had a trucking company, did trucking on the side. That's after
Right.
graduation.
During the war, do you remember where you were when you heard about the president's death? When Roosevelt died, where were you?
I don't remember. Mm-mm.
Do you remember hearing about the end of the war? How did you find out the war ended?
When I hear all this, we were finding guns. We weren't on duty, but they were finding those 9mm, and Seacoast was finding, and so.
Were you at
I don't remember too much about that. I don't remember I know my brother, they were on the way from, headed to, let me see. No, I'm not sure, quite sure.
No. When you came home on the Victory ship, what was your homecoming like? Did you immediately get discharged from the service when you landed in San Diego?
Yes, but it's, if you have in a kind of injury or illness, you have to wait over and let the doctors check. You have VAs to check you and stuff like. But everybody in such a hurry to get home, and then on top of that, and don't forget, you hadn't been paid in almost 2 years. You know, wow, them guys are smooth money they've seen in a long time.
So
And
did you have to see the doctor? Were you healthy and you could get out immediately?
no, I had that fungus. I had fungus on my feet. Now I could have got, with so many people, you have such a long wait. I could have got disability or something. In fact, I still got it. Doctors, there's no cure for it. And even since I've been home, excuse me. Oh, so it was quite an experience, man.
When you landed in San Diego, did you go to the doctor? How long did you have to stay there? Did that cost you extra days in the service?
No, like I said before, if I had stayed, and if you had any kind of,
If you had stayed, you could
I
have.
don't know how long I would have to stay, but I know that people, they're long, all these people.
So you were eager to get home?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you got out immediately. Now you're all the way across the country in San Diego. How'd you get home to Hartford?
Well, they give you mustering out pay. So like those guys from Chicago, like I told you, but they paid out their own pocket, they go, but they got their regular pay. So I got the money. My pay was from San Diego to Connecticut, and so that would have been more. My pay was for Connecticut, but I came to Florida. I went to Florida.
Oh, you went back to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go by train or?
Train. Mm-hmm.
And then did you stay in Florida?
Let me see.
Somehow you ended up back here in Connecticut.
Oh, in Florida, the work was, whatchamacallit, but see, I had the 5220, you get, for 52 weeks, you get $20 a week. And like I said before, my mother had that pay from all that money when I was overseas. And that's when I, went up to Jacksonville, bought that new car. It wasn't new.
That's where you bought the car while you were in Florida?
Yeah, after I came back. And then the 5220, you have to go every week. Every 2 weeks you go. And like I said, at the employment office, this was doing segregation, so you had to go around the back, and the white veterans, they'd come right in, sign, go. But the black, we had to go around the back, and they'd have a list for you, the hotels, and it's a tourist place. And you get, I think it's 5, they give you 5 addresses. You had to go to these 5 numbers, and they would have to sign. They had people work around their hotels and, these things. And you have to, in the kitchen, you need dishwashers and all. And they sign, you sign, you have to, this what we do, you go, it's Florida, instead of going, you have this, yes sir, no sir, to the whites. And so, but they give you this list, you got to go to all these places, and they need somebody to work. People had a lot of money, that guy wasn't working. So when you go, you talk different, Hey, who's the boss around here? They don't like that. And so they would sign this. I've been here, you got that. So you go right back and you can get your money. Get around $100 after go every 2 weeks and stuff like that. But boy, everybody was hip to that though. Shoot. If you go there and say yes sir, no sir, I can use you, but if not, if you talk like that, so you go back and get the.
So what did you do for work when you first got out of the service?
My father, he's a caretaker of this big estate, He had a couple guys working with him. After I used it, I didn't, that's for, you see, I didn't get, because my father, he was a very religious person, so and then I had this little money too, and, growing up, riding around in this, this new car, convertible Buick and stuff. And Bethune-Cookman College is, in fact, Mayor McLeod Bethune. It's the lady I was telling you about before is not too far from me. And we had the GI Bill, I could sign up and go to college there. But no, my brother, because like I said before, he had already had finished college, so he's going to dental school in Nashville, Tennessee. And he signed me up for Fisk University. And so in my new car, that don't go together.
He signed you up where?
Fisk University.
Is that where he was going?
He was going to Mahara University. That's a medical school.
Is that close by?
Oh, sure, yeah. And so he signed me up for there.
So you signed up on the GI Bill to go to Fisk University. What were you going to study?
Dental. I went to dental school. Pre-dent. I went to pre-dent. But I went to Fisk. You got to finish there before you go to dental school. Mahara University is right across the street. So I got there with that new car and all those ladies, and that was it, I flunked out of Fisk, and then I went to Tennessee State, and same thing. So I come back up here and went to work, and then like I told you, the guy remember me from before, and it's all the factors, everybody on sold home, no help needed, and he hired me again.
Wow.
Then
So after you didn't make it at Fisk, you didn't make it at Tennessee State, but then you brought that new car and you came back up to Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And the same man that you worked for before at Standardine?
Yeah, Ed Sylvan, I'll never forget it.
Ed Sylvan?
Mm-hmm.
He hired you right back.
Right.
And is that where you worked?
Yeah, for 20-some years, 26 years. Mm-hmm. But I always had 2 and 3 jobs though, and I had my own little business. I had a truck. When I was working at Standardine, I worked at the bank at Windsor Federal in Windsor. I'd get off at night at 2 o'clock and go out there, and I had keys to the bank. And if in the winter, I shovel the sidewalk. I did that, still got that, and the hedge used to be there. I trimmed that hedge and get the money from the post office right across the street. I mean, not the money, but the mail, and bring the mail over and sort the mail out, put the offsets on, put it on the desk and stuff like that. And then I had a truck, and I got 2 trucks. One of my brothers came up there with me, and then I had a guy that worked with me over there. I was working at Standardine and still had this truck. And at the time I was working at that hotel. Oh my goodness. 3 jobs I had.
Wow, you were very busy. Now, somewhere you found some time to get married and you had children. Did you marry a Connecticut girl?
I knew you were going to. That's what happened when in college, I went from, I flunked out of Fisk, but I was doing all right at
Tennessee State.
yeah, but that's where I met my wife.
So you got married and brought her to Connecticut?
Yeah, I call myself talking around there.
And then you told me that you sold that car for the down payment on your house.
Right. In the house, right up the street, like I said before, this one, it's just like the one at 48. When you go right down and turn left and you see 48 houses, they all look just like that. And I sold the car and bought the house up at the end of the street, and they wouldn't let me buy the new ones over there, so he built me one there. It was in Windsor. But that was the way it is.
Clifford, how would you say that your military experience influenced your thinking about war or about the military?
You know, my situation was a little different because these islands so isolated, you know, and most of my time was spent on these little islands, isn't it? And what way? Would you repeat that?
How would you say your military experience influenced the way you think about war or the way you think about the military?
Oh, I know it's a must the way these different countries are acting nowadays in developed countries and stuff. You have to have a military, especially nowadays.
Did you join any veterans organizations after you got out of the service?
Well, most of the VFW, business for joined VFW.
Are you an active member now?
Yeah. But I don't go to any of the meetings. Just pay my dues. Mhm.
And how would you say your military experience affected your life?
Oh, very much so because you're just so different, you know, and it give you, and especially in the Marines, you know, because they just are different. The Marines, you know, you feel so proud, you know. And like I heard some people talking about, you know, back then guys going to Canada, some keep from going to shoot. I was proud, man. Shoot. And that uniform, boy, oh my goodness, and boy, they had to get everything clean because most even around the base and stuff in Jacksonville, North Carolina, boy, I had my dress blues on.
Do you still have your uniform?
I think so. So we still got the old family house down in I keep on. It's probably because, you know, they were up until a few years ago. They probably didn't tell me, but they probably threw away because of that, you know, down that southern, the bugs and stuff, I guess. I left it down
Oh, you left it down in Florida?
there. Mm-hmm.
So it might or might not be there. So are you still a proud Marine?
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, right. It's just different, you know. You see, I wear my caps when I go out, the kids and everybody, you know, it's a good feeling. Mm-hmm.
Do you ever stay in touch now with any of your former Montfort Point Marines? I know that the four that came up here are all gone, but are there any others that you know of that are still alive that you stay in touch with?
I don't know of anyone. Because even when we went to down to down in
Washington, when you went to the
Washington,
medal?
D.C.
Were you the only one from Connecticut?
They had another one, a Montfort Point Marine, but he was a cook. He wasn't in the 51st. And you had 52nd. I didn't know anybody there. In fact, I'll show you that picture. The older guys there, everybody should have been a wheelchair brigade. We were all in
Wow.
and that's, not too many of us left.
Clifford, is there anything else that you can remember about your service that we haven't talked about, or is there any other memorable experiences that happened while you were in the service?
Like I said, you know, we were the defense battalion, you know, mainly protecting the anti-aircraft and the seacoast, you know, island, the 155 millimeter and the 90 millimeter. But we were air and that's the seacoast. And we had, I forgot, we had a special weapons outfit in my outfit. We had special weapons, you know, 50 caliber and automatic weapons, special weapons. You
So
know,
they were included with your battalion?
Yes.
Were you trained on the other special weapons or just the 90 millimeter?
I was just on the millimeter in the 03. You know, and the 45, because when you go on guard duty, you have to have 45. at that time.
Any other memorable experiences, things that happened to you when you were overseas?
Overseas, like I said, it's, being a defense battalion, we were just protecting that fighter group, and and then over there, it was just the culture is so different, but the guys, like I said, the guys from Chicago and New York, they sent back home and got these dresses and shoes. You see them niggas with them high heels in that sand. Oh man. Yeah. They mm. Down 2 years somewhere I saw where they found out that the island had phosphate on it. And I saw, someone sent me a picture of the island I was on, at a hotel. I couldn't believe it. And it's a bunch of, I met this fella. But anyway, that was years ago. They go back over there every so often. They have that trip. They sent me a couple letters, they'd go back over there to the island. And one of these fellas said that, man, that hotel and everything, after they discovered phosphate on the island and everything. I bet that would be something. Because, man, it was altogether different then, because most of the guys just have that thing wrapped around them and stuff like that. But before we left, though, we see a lot of natives had pants on and stuff.
Clifford, how does it feel to be such an important part of history that you were in the very first unit?
Very proud, very proud. And I'm just thankful to my Lord Jesus that he put me in a position to have been at that particular time in history. And
you paved the way
yes,
for all those who came after you.
Yes, yes. And before you go, I got to show you a picture of me and this guy, a black guy stationed in, somewhere. He's stationed in some embassy overseas. A 3-star black gentleman. And I got a picture of him and me. And when we were training, we did not even have a black PFC. That's a private, the lowest class. We just have a single white person. And you should see those. Oh, and like I was saying before, the young lady, this Lieutenant Colonel, she's the adjutant to the head Marine, I forgot the name. And that's why we were sitting, all the older ones, and we were in the wheelchairs, and by him, by her being the adjutant to the general, head general, people were coming by shaking her hand and stuff, and her father was there. And
Now, was her father one of the original Montford Point Marines?
I don't know. But anyway, she would bring people over there and they shake her father's hand. But I don't know. But I know he's an ex-Marine. And this is very important. I forgot about that. I saw his picture on TV the other day. This was the first black congressman from Florida, and is a Republican. And so when we were down in Washington, D.C., but he's got some weird ideas, So everybody's shaking our hand and stuff like that. And so he was there I saw it. I recognized him for the picture and stuff like that. But he didn't ever come near me shaking the other guy's hands and stuff. And then after, what the heck happened? He shook that young lady's father's hand and stuff like that, and he kept looking. But so I waited for him to come over, And boy, you should have seen him. He was so excited. I saw him on TV the other night. Cause I shook his hand, you know what I mean? Cause he at first he wouldn't, cause he got some weird ideas, you know, for a black man. He's on, and I saw him on TV the other day. And he finally, boy, oh boy, you should have seen that guy. He was so happy to shake my hand, cause he's something.
Well, it's an honor,
Mm-hmm.
and he realized that.
Yeah, but he was in the group with the senators that, you know, that came to our thing. I said, well, I'd be dope. I saw him on TV the other night. And I tell everybody, we laughed like heck though. Boy, he sure was singing.
Well, Clifford, I'd like to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for this interview.
Thank you.